Welcome, everyone. I would like to start thanking you for attending this press conference. As you know, this is a very important day for SIGA, as we are revealing the first ever SIRVS rating and certification of a sports organization. With me are Emanuel Macedo Medeiros, SIGA Global CEO, Ahmad Al-Khattabi, BSI Assurance Business Development Director, and David Butler, European Rugby League General Manager. Before asking them for opening remarks, I invite you to watch a short video about SIRVS.
This is a crucial game.
This is a massive test.
Sports is a celebration that unites the world. But its values are under threat. Increasing cases of corruption, criminal infiltration and abuse are tarnishing its reputation. Winning cannot come at any cost. SIGA is the world's leading organization for sport integrity. Our goal is to provide trust, assurance and credibility in the industry. SIGA's independent rating and verification system, SIRVS, pioneers better governed sports, financial integrity and transparency, sports betting integrity and youth development. Sports organizations are the custodians of the game. SIRVS is the assurance that they are fit for purpose. SIRVS is the assurance that the reputation of sport and the wider industry are protected. Join our global movement. Be the leaders of change.
I hope you have enjoyed it. And now, without further delays, I will call Emanuel Macedo Medeiros, the SIGA Global CEO, on this virtual stage. Emanuel, please.
Thank you, Nuno. Good morning to you all. Bom dia. It's at the same time, should be easy to start this press conference, since this is the corollary of 7 years of hard labor, pursuing a vision that we fundamentally believed in since the first minute. But as I echo the path that was initiated 7 years ago when we set up SIGA as a truly global, multi-stakeholder, independent, reform-driven organization, it is impossible to forget how hard was our journey to get here. In life, we have to make choices. Our choice to promote a healthy, safe, clean sport was done 7 years ago. But every action we have taken, every decision we have made, every battle that we have engaged ourselves with led us to this moment. So this is why I have no doubt to say that being here today is a privilege and an honor for me. It is truly an historical moment. It represents a shift in paradigm on the way the industry has governed itself until now. I want to commend the European Rugby League, its leadership, its staff, its fans, its commercial sponsors, its broadcasters, the whole of the rugby world, for having the vision, the bravery, the courage, the foresight to give this step forward, to adopt the SIGA universal standards as they are the best in class, as they represent truly the silver bullet that can shield sport against so many threats that surround the industry today, but also to have accepted, to open themselves and to submit the European Rugby League to the independent, objective, fact-based scrutiny that only the SIGA independent rating and verification system can offer. We did not get to this point by accident or randomly, and we certainly did not get to this stage alone. Throughout this journey, since we have decided to develop an international public tender to select the partner who we would trust the operations of SIRVS, we have had the privilege and the honor of working closely, hand in glove, with the BSI, the British Standard Institution, the #1 institution in the world in terms of standard setting. This is the guarantee not only of our reformist vein and our reformist spirit, but it's also the evidence that every decision we make is grounded. Every action we take is underpinned on solid grounds with the expertise, the credibility, the rigor that comes with a brand like BSI. It is also a unique moment in sport. I mentioned the shift in paradigm between talk and action, between words and deeds, between intentions and achievements. And today is a day of great achievements, not only for SIGA and the European Rugby League, not only for BSI, but for the whole industry, as the whole industry demands today more than ever that there is the highest integrity standards applied throughout the industry. Otherwise, how can we expect the fans to continue to convey their passion? How can we expect the sponsors to continue to invest their funding, their reputation, their expectations in an industry if this industry is not willing to walk the talk? So today is indeed a groundbreaking moment, because it's the moment where we show that the industry is able and willing to assume its own responsibilities. This is the day where the industry, through the European Rugby League, reaffirms its commitment to pursue a vision of sport free from corruption, match fixing, child trafficking, and so many threats that surround it. This is also the day that we call on all other sports organizations to give a step forward, to show the leadership that the present times command and demand, to adopt the SIGA Universal Standards and go through SIRVS. This is also the day where we pay tribute to the media, the independent media, the media that makes the difference, the media that is not only committed to inform, but also to be part of this new cultural change. Because it is indeed a cultural change that we have spurred. And this is just one fundamental milestone on a journey that was initiated 7 years ago and surely will continue in years to come. We would like to commend your support, your attention. We would like to encourage the whole industry to fully understand the significance, the symbolism, the weight of this moment. Because from now on, there can be no excuses. There can be no excuses from anyone, from the IOC, from FIFA, from UEFA, from all sports organizations. Because the European Rugby League has shown not just the leadership, not just the stamina, but also it has shown that if we really want, impossible is nothing. So I want to thank you, David, you and your team and the whole European Rugby League for giving this step forward and for achieving such a great milestone. We are here to work in the most collaborative way with sport, with a positive spirit and a constructive attitude. Today is a great day. Let's make it worth. Let's make it a source of inspiration for other sports organizations, for the wider industry. The challenge is made. I look forward to the reactions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emmanuel. You have mentioned the BSI, and I would like to invite Ahmad Al-Khatib to make his open remarks, if you please can.
Thank you, Nuno. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. We are delighted in BSI today to collaborate with SIGA, with the sports industry on this very important initiative, an initiative that promotes the adoption of best practice within the sports industry. I also would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the European Rugby League on taking the lead in demonstrating its commitment to governance, to accountability, to scrutiny, as well as transparency, which will provide trust and assurance to its stakeholders, as well as to all its interested parties. So well done to the Rugby League on achieving this important milestone and certification. We indeed look forward to continuing our partnership and collaboration with SIGA and the sports industry, helping further organizations in the sports industry to future-proof their business and to adopt best practice standards and frameworks. So on my behalf, I would like to thank you all for contributing to this important moment. And I again congratulate the European Rugby League on this achievement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ahmad. Now, David, the European Rugby League is a pioneer, and we would all like to hear from you, your feelings and your thoughts at this moment. So David Butler, General Manager of the European Rugby League.
Thank you, Nuno. Well, obviously, we are very proud to be the first organisation that is going to be certified by SIRVS, but we've not undertaken the SIRVS process to be the first and to wave that flag. We've undertaken it to ensure that we are a robust and well-governed organisation, and to give our members and our sponsors and our partners trust in our organisation as part of a wider governance review. So obviously it's fantastic to be the first and to pave the way, but it's not about that. It's about what I've just said there, being having a thorough look at ourselves and making sure that we are an organisation that sets high standards. So whether we were first or last or in the middle, we would have approached this in exactly the same way. I'd like to thank SIGA for their support throughout the process. We've discussed already on this about the independence and the importance of that, and through the SIRVS framework, that's allowed us to understand what excellent law and really help us to understand how we can make what we thought was a good organisation. Thank you for setting the bar. BSI's role in the process has been very, very useful to us. They've challenged us at times, they've asked awkward questions, they've also helped us in terms of understanding the framework, as well as applying that on a day-to-day basis. So it's a great teamwork between SIGA and BSI to deliver this. So like I said, we're very proud, but the point now is that we don't just stop. We need to continue. I know when our rating is unveiled later on, people will see that there's some room for improvement still within that. It's not something that we're concerned about, but it's something that we know that we will achieve over the next coming years, and hope to improve our rating and continue to push our standards and industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. As you know, and as we have been telling this morning, the European Rugby League adopted the SIGA's universal standards on good governance and gone through SIRVS. Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So no one did this, so I will have to do it and share the rating that
Who is speaking?
It's Nuno. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me? Yeah, okay. So the ERL got the silver certification, and now it's time, so the silver rating, and now it's time for...
We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Okay, so we have internet issues. Okay, so it's time, let's move on. It's time for questions and answers. If someone wants to ask a question, please raise your hand virtually so that I can see it. Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yes.
No, can I speak?
Yes, of course.
Just two quick questions. How long this process, like 1 month, 6 months? How long did it take? And what happens next? The European Rugby League has the certification, but will continue to be followed by SIGA. What happens next? How does it develop? Thank you.
So who wants to answer this? Maybe Emmanuel? I think we lost Emmanuel. You will be joining in again for sure. Ahmad, do you want to give some explanation regarding this matter?
Thank you, Nuno. Indeed, a very good question. There are a number of stages that an organization has to go through before they actually undergo the assessment process itself. So the first aspect is, of course, reviewing the standards, understanding those standards, and working internally within the sport organization in order to adopt and implement those standards. So there is a process where the sports organization itself has to undertake in order to prepare its systems, policies, and ways of working, and benchmark those to the standards that were presented by Emmanuel. Once that is completed, we as BSI then coordinate with the sports organization the planning and execution of the independent assessment that we conduct. And as part of that process, we appoint an independent team of auditors who would then conduct that audit with the organization usually over a period of time. So there are multiple days assessments where an audit team will engage the organization and look at the different requirements of the standard. And at the end of that process, the audit team will independently issue an audit report with our recommendations, depending on the outcome of the assessment and actions taken by the sports industry organization to address any areas for improvements or gaps. This report then goes to SIGA with our recommendation, and then SIGA will independently also provide a conclusion about the rating level that has been achieved. That is the initial process that leads to certification. Once a certificate is granted, there is then a process of periodical review and assessment that is conducted in a very similar fashion by an independent audit team in order to make sure those standards continue to be adopted and embraced, but also to support the organization improve and enhance their practices and ways of working. I hope this provided a good explanation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ahmad, who I remember is BSI Assurance Business Development Director. So any questions, any more questions?
Yeah.
Okay, Miguel, please.
Okay. In English? Okay. Why silver for the European Rugby League? What they're missing, they didn't get the gold.
So Emmanuel, would you like to answer? And then David, maybe?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So just to clarify, the standards are exceptionally high already. So our compliance was actually 97.3%. So still to achieve silver in that higher rating, we're very proud of that. The areas that we're missing on were mainly around the length of the terms of our directors. So at the time of the audit, our directors served for unlimited terms. So potentially they could just keep coming back and keep coming back. As a result of going through SIRVS, we've learned that isn't industry best practice. We were already aware that we needed to change that anyway. And actually at our annual council meeting on the 13th of November, our members voted to introduce a cap on the number of terms for directors and a slight change to the length of terms. So now our directors serve for 3-year terms and they serve a maximum of 3 terms, so a maximum of 9 years in total. So that was one of the areas that we had a minor non-conformity against. And then the other minor non-conformity was, again, something that we started to work on, which was around a diversity policy for our board. And what SIGA wanted to see was not just the policy in place, but they wanted to see how that policy has been enacted and implemented over a longer period of time. So we received a minor non-conformity for that as well. So as I said earlier, they're not things that we're particularly concerned about because we were already taking steps to address them. And what we plan to prove to SIGA at our next periodic review is that we've taken their initial advice on board, we're running with it, and we're demonstrating best practice, continued best practice in the future.
I confirm.
It's a good question.
Do you have nothing to add? Do you have anything to add, Emmanuel? Or can we go to?
Well, I do have a lot to add. In reality, I could speak volumes about this whole process and the expectations that we have moving forward from here. I think it's also not the secret that there are a number of sports organizations in the pipeline who are now giving steps towards the adoption of the universal standards and embracing the SIGA independent rating and verification system. It is also not a secret that we signed a cooperation agreement with UEFA shortly before the pandemic had this outburst, which foresees in that agreement UEFA adopting the SIGA universal standards and going through SIRVS. It is also not the secret that other organizations from the Qatar Stars League to the Portuguese National Olympic Committee to the International Chess Federation to the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, which will be the next one to start very soon. All these organizations, a growing number of national and international sports organizations understand that this is a critical moment and want to show the leadership that comes with the giving this step forward. So it is indeed a groundbreaking moment for sport. I mentioned the word paradigm shift because it's undoubtedly a shift between proclamations of fit for purpose and the evidence that comes with this serious process of rating, verification, and finally certification, which is what we will culminate within 1 hour here in person in London, the first in-person event since 2020, the beginning of 2020.
Okay, so thank you.
I would like I would like through you to appeal to the whole business community that invests so much in sport. I would like to appeal also to civil society, starting by the fans, to be agents of change, to lead the charge, to be at the forefront of this tranquil revolution, to encourage, to instigate, to convince their own sports organizations that this is not just the right thing to do it, it is the moment to do it. The moment to do. We cannot tolerate further scandals. Sport and its credibility will not resist to another wave of scandals such as the ones that have dragged sports name through the mud in 2015 and in recent years. So this is the time when we put our house in order, where sports organizations demonstrate that they are doing their job and are enhancing the way they govern themselves and operate. It's an important responsibility, and I'm certain, being as I am a man of sport, that sport will live up to these expectations. To all of you, we remain at your disposal. We mean business, and we are here to stay. Okay. So don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Okay, Sergio Lopes, you have a question, please.
Yes, hello. I would like to raise a real example. Last week in the rink hockey European Championship, Spain and France clearly agreed on the result that has put both teams in the final, because after Spain scoring 2-0, both teams simply stopped attacking and trying to score more goals, because that result would put them both in the final. What I would like to ask is if SIGA certification can prevent such kind of events, and how can how can it prevent this kind of happenings?
What the SIGA universal standards and the SIGA rating system will ensure is that sports organizations have within the regulatory framework not only concrete provisions that foresee cases like this, cases of potential breach of ethics, but also the consequences. So there is a huge regulatory work to be done that ensures that the sports organizations at the different levels have this defense mechanism in place that is actioned in case of a breach of the nature that you have described. I'm certain that this particular case is under investigation, under assessment. I would encourage not only those who feel that they were negatively affected by this collusion of behavior towards a certain result on the field, but also the sports organizations, the competition organizer, to take this to the last consequences. Because if there is a seed of doubt, there is a seed of distrust, and that kills the integrity and the credibility of sport. So there cannot be any room for navel gazing and for passive attitudes.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Now let's go to Madrid, where we have David. would you like to ask your question?
Yes, hello, this is David Nelson from Diario AS. Questions for David. First of all, congratulations on the SIRVS rating. What I was keen to know is, have you already discussed this with sponsors and what's their reaction been? Are they positive about this? And the other one was just a very rough idea. How much does it actually cost to go through SIRVS? Which I guess there's going to be potentially payments to the BSI or to SIGA, but there's also potentially internal costs. Just a rough idea of that.
Well, I'll answer your questions in reverse, David. And firstly, thank you for the congratulations. So our board decided to undertake SIRVS last year, and all of the contractual arrangements were undertaken then. I actually joined the company in January, so I wasn't part of that discussion. So I'll have to get somebody from SIGA to come back to you on that in due course. But in terms of the discussion with commercial partners, we haven't yet got to that point. We have been undertaking the SIRVS program throughout the year. So we started that in February. We got a final rating in September. And as I said earlier, we've used that to inform aspects of a wider governance review within the organisation. We did unveil the rating to our members, our annual council meeting earlier this month. And to be honest, we've been waiting until today to to start talking more widely about that. What we do know is from the SIGA week earlier in the year that a lot of commercial partners who are involved in that are very, very complimentary of the scheme, and I know some of them have committed that in time they will only work with organisations that have been through SIRVS. So again, demonstrating the commercial sector's desire to see well-governed and trusted organisations who they can invest in. So
that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, Sergio, you still have your...
Excuse me, Nuno, but I would like to add another word, because we are an integrity organization and we don't leave questions in the air. Question was asked regarding the cost. Well, there is a huge cost in terms of investment, of time, dedication, knowledge, expertise, the whole machinery that you can see here, 3 organizations involved. But at the end of the day, the cost is equitable, proportionate, balanced, and affordable. We estimate, we haven't done the final calculations, but we estimate that this will be between £5,000 and £10,000, which is, by the way, something that takes into consideration the size of the organization, the complexity and the nature of the assessment and the rating, and of course the number of employees, amongst other factors. So it's not prohibitive. It's not prohibitive. It is meant to be affordable, which means also a huge investment being made by SIGA and all our members to facilitate this opportunity to the whole industry. And let me also emphasize not just the cost and investment, but also, and above all, the gain that comes with a rating and a SIGA certification, in terms of credibility, in terms of the sports organization being able to demonstrate not just to the media, but to the sponsors, to all the audiovisual world, to the public opinion out there, that yes, indeed, they are fit for purpose and they are walking the talk. Because the day that sports loses that integrity, it loses credibility, and it loses also the source of passion and the commercial appeal for fans and so many commercial partners. So I would like also to emphasize this, is what you gain by adopting the universal standards and going through SIRVS. And this is what sponsors are demanding. Discussions we have every day with global brands, they leave a dilemma, which is to continue to invest in sport, not knowing whether that sport organization, beyond the words, beyond the laudable intentions, is truly fit for purpose, not knowing whether, as we have seen so often, tomorrow around the corner awaits another scandal of biblical proportions, of massive impact throughout the media. SIRVS is the guarantee, indeed, that their trust, their confidence, their investment, their credibility is safe. And that is why we believe that it needs to be adopted right now by all.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Emmanuel. Anyone else wants to ask any question? No? Okay, Miguel. Okay, please.
It's for Emmanuel and David, how it works if you want now European Rugby League wants a new evaluation, when they can ask another one, a new one. What's your idea to do it, like every year, every 2 years? How does it work?
The certification, and also Hamad can also complement this, but the certification is issued for a period of 3 years. Which means also that on an annual basis, we will conduct a review of the whole governance of the European Rugby League in order to monitor the progress and the progressive level of implementation of the standards. As you surely know, we have designed the universal standards in a progressive way, starting with the bronze standards, moving to silver and then gold. So they are equivalent to good, better, and best. And we want to encourage sports organizations to continue this path and to continue to position themselves at the top of the ranking, which comes obviously with the gold certification. I must say that achieving silver is pretty amazing, is a huge achievement, because these standards are the best in class. They are very detailed, they are very demanding, they are very serious, and they involve a huge amount of work in implementing them. So over the next 3 years, starting from today, we will continue to work closely with European Rugby League and BSI in order to assist, to support, to collaborate the process whereby European Rugby League will continue to move up into that chain so it can reach the very top.
And Emmanuel, aren't you afraid that silver is too high, or bronze is already too high for some organizations to ask for your vision?
No, I don't think so. And I think this is a moment for ambition. The world is going through a devastating global pandemic that is destroying the very fabric and some of the most fundamental things in our life. This is not the moment for agitation. This is not the moment for wishy-washy attitudes. This is a moment to undertake leadership. And those who are the recipients of the trust and the confidence and the investment of civil society, global business, and all of us, they need to demonstrate that they are fit for purpose. We need to take this seriously because it's a serious multi-billion euro industry in the 21st century that cannot, and I'm certain will not, govern itself as if we were in the 19th century. So I am confident that organizations will be open-minded. I am confident that sports organizations will understand what is at stake. I am confident sports organizations will listen to their sponsors. It's not by accident that MasterCard, for example, is one of our funding members, or Qatar Airways, or other big brands. It's because all of them are united in ensuring level playing field amongst the sponsorship community, but also united in the effort to encourage sport to continue to evolve and enhance its own governance. So I am confident that when the sporting leaders of our time dedicate a small amount of time of going through those universal standards, they will understand it is not rocket science. And they will understand that if the European Rugby League has done, why wouldn't they? Are they against sport integrity? I don't think so. So yes, I am a confident man in this regard.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions? We are over the limit of our time. If no one else has any more questions, I would like to thank you again.
Bruno, may I breach protocol only to leave?
Of course you can.
From the media with this simple question. Would you take a flight not knowing that that plane and all its mechanisms were duly certified? Would you live in a house not knowing that that house and the way it was built was certified? Without that seal of trust and excellence and guarantee, would you do that? I don't think any one of us would do that. So why would sport be an exception? With this thought, I thank you for your presence, your support, your questions, and I look forward to seeing you in person one of these days.